today I'm going to start by taking you back to 1896 with a chap called Pareto. He observed that 80% of outcomes tended to come from 20% of effort. It actually started with Italian farmers, that 80% of the wealth of the country was from 20% of the landowners. Now, this has been adopted by the business community and is a rule that works really well in the modern day. It goes a bit like this. You'll probably find, if you actually look into it in any detail, that 80% of your income is generated by just 20% of your input, your effort. In other words, for 80% of your time, you're doing the things that support the main activity. But if you can really focus on the 20% that's productive, it can make a massive difference. Have I lost you already? I expect I have. I've got an example to show you. If you thought about your customers and you listed them along with the revenue you get from each of those customers, and then work out what proportion of your overall income they produce, you might find some quite interesting results. I've got an example here for you. So I've listed 30 customers with ever diminishing amounts of turnover. The first four or five are really quite high, and so contribute really quite a high percentage. And then gradually they go down and down and down in order. Now, this is quite a normal model, and certainly I've worked with clients who've had a very similar scenario with their own customers. Now, think about the time spent on those customers. Very often, the larger customers who are producing a lot of income for you start to become quite routine. And actually, you have a formula, you know what you're doing, you know when you're doing it. It's all pretty straightforward and low hassle. I don't think it'll surprise you to know that at the bottom of that list you have some quite demanding customers who can actually gobble up a huge chunk of your time. In the past, I've had a team where one person was looking after the top 50% and the rest of the team were looking after the other 50%. And of course, it needed to be the other way around. When we addressed that issue, we had a dramatic effect on our overall performance. So what I'd encourage you to do is to actually list your customers and sort them, put them on a spreadsheet, and list them and then sort them and then start to add up. I think you might be quite surprised how much of your business is just coming from a few of your customers. So if you put some more effort into those customers that come at the top of the list, maybe you identify some from the lower part of the list that have got potential to grow and be a bigger customer, and actually start to think about different ways of dealing with the customers who are relatively small and taking up too much of your time at the moment. So my challenge to you today is to get that data sorted out. It's to do that analysis and to see where your priorities really should lie and which of your customers you should be protecting because they make such a big contribution to your overall success.